Welcome back to On Your Health. This is Sterling Jones. Today we will be discussing 3 key factors that increase fat burning, keto adaption, and prevent the brain fog / feeling of weakness when fasting or fat adapting. Okay, so let's start with number 1, which is apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar upregulates the usage of fatty acids to be used as energy, which means that instead of burning, say, only 30% fat and 70% glucose, just taking 2 to 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, you can increase that usage from 30 to 40% or higher. Also, apple cider vinegar boosts the metabolism by upregulating fatty acid usage and also increasing thermogenesis. It increases thermogenesis by uncoupling the mitochondria, which simply means instead of using ATP for certain pathways and energy, it wastes an ATP, which produces heat. Also, it decreases your overall response from carbs by reducing the glycemic index of foods, reducing the insulin response from foods, and also reducing the number of glucose transporters available to deliver glucose to be used as fuel. So by reducing the amount of cars that are taking glucose to their destination to be used, with that reduction causes an increase in the usage of fatty acids. It also lowers your fasting blood sugar. One of the best benefits of taking apple cider vinegar is it increases your ketone production. In a later video, I will go in depth in how apple cider vinegar actually does all these things. But for now, just know these benefits are studied and proven. With all these benefits, in just taking 2 to 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, why wouldn't you add it to your daily routine? In one study, participants consumed 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar a day for 12 weeks without changing anything about their daily lifestyle. And miraculously, the study resulted in an average of 4 pounds lost per participant, just by taking 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Why wouldn't you do that? Lastly, apple cider vinegar also has a unique effect on satiety by curbing your appetite. In fact, one study showed that when consuming apple cider vinegar with your meals, on average, the participants ate an average of 200 to 275 calories a day less, which is like spending an hour on the treadmill. So you can replace 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar with your meal with an hour on the treadmill for the same amount of fat loss. Come on, why wouldn't you do that? Number 2 is caffeine, our all-beloved caffeine. Caffeine doesn't just help you keep you satisfied, but in coffee there is a chemical peptide, YY, that signals your brain not to eat. So it decreases your appetite, which overall decreases the amount of calories you're going to consume in a day. The caffeine mobilizes the fat, which I suggest while drinking coffee to add some L-carnitine in it, which allows the fatty acids to be used by the cell. A 2-step process for efficient and effective fat burning. The caffeine, which mobilizes the fat and brings it from the fat stores into the blood, while the L-carnitine that you're adding to your coffee is going to take the fat from the blood and transport it into the mitochondria to actually be used as fuel. Like I said, a 2-step process for efficient and effective fat burning. Caffeine mobilizes free fatty acids necessary for lipolysis, which is just simply utilizing the fat as fuel. Caffeine has been observed in countless studies to take the free fatty acids out from the fat stores and puts in the bloodstream to be burned. Here's an interesting one. Caffeine has been shown to mobilize fat stores for fuel rather than using muscle glycogen, particularly during the first 15 minutes of exercise. So what this means, guys, is instead of wasting your muscle glycogen, which you can save for those explosive times like if you're doing a bike race for the hill incline, you can burn the fat instead. Caffeine has been shown to increase energy expenditure and thermogenesis, just like apple cider vinegar. But that is not all. Caffeine also lowers insulin and glucose, helping all of us become metabolically more healthy. Okay, now lastly, on top of all those benefits of caffeine, caffeine increases glucagon, which is one of the main fat-burning hormones, and it increases all the other ones. An example of that is adrenaline. So all these increase your energy, your alertness, your cognitive mental clarity, increases lipolysis, which again is just mobilizing fatty acids to be used as fuel instead of glucose. Alright, the last secret to fat loss is a nice simple one. It is simply hydration. Alright, the first thing about hydration is on organ function. So, if your kidneys become dehydrated, which their main job is filtering blood, becomes inhibited, which means slow down almost to a stop. And so, with the decreasing function on the kidneys, there's an increased function on the liver to filter all the blood, which we want the liver's main function to be burning fat instead of picking up other organs' jobs, and only has half the fat burning capacity if the kidneys are dehydrated. So all we got to do is simply consume more water, and while fasting and following a ketogenic diet, we want to add some salt, really, so we can kind of retain all that water instead of just drinking pure water, which actually dehydrates and dilutes us even more. So my big number one recommendation is after sleeping for 8 hours, 6 hours, whatever it is, we're not drinking water while we're sleeping. So the first thing is, right when you wake up, consume at least 20 fluid ounces of water and maybe a shot of half to a full tablespoon of salt. Number two is on the endocrine system. Growth hormone, which I will discuss in a later video, all what growth hormone does within the body. Growth hormone is a potent fat-burning hormone. It binds itself to the receptor sites of fat cells and breaks them down, shrinking the fat cell altogether. However, growth hormone reduction is hugely reduced when the body is dehydrated, which limits fat metabolism and lipolysis. So all we got to do again is make sure we're cognizant about how much water we're taking in and be mindful of how our body is feeling. They've shown in studies with just 2% dehydration in the body, just 2%, increased brain fog, decreased energy, decreased mental clarity, etc. 3 is if we stay hydrated, it increases fat-burning enzymes. So, enzymes are pretty much just little machines that get things done in the body. So increasing fat-burning enzymes increases lipolysis, increases fat burning altogether, which, when we're dehydrated, the enzyme functions are severely reduced. In one study looking at the link between dehydration and obesity and using urine samples provided by the participants in the study, with participants from ages 18 all the way to 64, the study found that nearly 1/3 of the participants were inadequately hydrated. And with this, their odds of being obese were 1.6 times higher for people who were not well hydrated, while also associating inadequate hydration with higher BMI, which is body mass index, which is simply a measure of body fat based on your weight and your height. Again, I want to thank you for watching my videos. Please like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment on content you want me to cover in future videos. Thank you.